The Tangent Egg podcast is aimed at a mature audience. It contains themes that are not appropriate for all listeners. It's important to note that we are not experts. We routinely have no idea what we're talking about and are just three idiots sitting around a table. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Tangent Egg podcast. I'm Seth, and much like last week, I've only got one of the boys with me this week. It's Swoosh.
Sadly, it's just
the
me.
one with the John Doe's the one with the scheduling conflict this time.
Yeah, we traded off. Now he's the problem, so I get a week off of being the problem.
But this is the week that he moves house, so he'll have hopefully better internet by the time we get him back on, and we can.
Well, he is moving
finally have
somewhere
a
that
stable
should
chat with him.
theoretically have better internet than we do in a capital city. So,
Yeah,
where he's heading, we're not going to, dox him. But it's one of the cities in Australia that actually has good internet. It's fibre everywhere. Lucky prick.
So, we're just going to have to run this one without him.
Yep.
And I think this week we're going to have to start off talking about, a lot of people have been talking about it, the Netflix adaptation of Avatar: The Last Airbender has been getting a lot of coverage.
Yeah, and not a lot of good coverage from what I've seen. Which makes me sad.
Yeah, like the director's talking about how it's a remix, not a cover, and that sort of stuff.
But we don't want remixes. We want the actual storyline unchanged. We just want it in a more live-action format. Why is that hard for things to figure out?
Because every director wants to have their fingerprints on their project.
Yeah.
They don't just want to remake someone else's project.
I mean, I get that, but you can still do things with styling. You don't want to change core concepts of characters.
Which is the big one that everyone's getting up in arms about.
Yeah.
So if you haven't heard about it, they're removing the sexism from Sokka's character.
Which,
Now,
most people are going to cheer
just-
about if they don't know the circumstances of this series.
Yeah, I'm sure if you're a listener to this show and you just hear me say, oh, they're removing sexism from this random character of a show I don't know, well, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Except the whole start of his character development is him unlearning that stuff.
Yeah, he goes, 3 seasons? No, it's 2 seasons in, he actually basically gets rid of that entire viewpoint and, from the get-go. He starts off...
he gets over it pretty quickly. It's only 3 or 4 episodes in when they go to Kyoshi Island.
Oh, that's right, yeah, no, the Kyoshi Island stuff really hammers that into him, doesn't it?
But that's the start of it.
Yeah.
It's not even the end of it. Because the idea with Sokka is he was left alone in the Southern Water Tribe by all the men and was basically told, you have to look after all the women. So he brings that sort of, women are weak and need protecting mentality along with him.
Yeah.
At which point, when he gets to Kyoshi Island and finds the, all-women warriors group, it really throws him for a loop, and he has to unlearn some of that.
Well,
And he continues even to the point where they get to the Northern Water Tribe, and he has to fully acknowledge that his sister doesn't need him to protect her. She's a powerful woman of her own.
not only that, it's the other water tribe is just as sexist, if not more, than his home tribe. And he has a stark contrast because he goes from having learnt all these things along the journey he's had with Aang and Katara and Toph. Was Toph there at that time? No, she wasn't. She wasn't around yet. But he'd gone through all of that stuff with them, and seeing it thrown back into his face of, this is the mentality that you used to have, and it's a bit of a trial for him, and it's wonderful character growth, and you see him change little by little and grow stronger for it, to the point where he eventually does meet Toph, who is blind and uses earthbending to see, but he never actually treats her like she's blind. He never really goes about the thing, I have to protect this girl because she can't see. It's, she can handle herself, she's strong as hell, why would I need to do anything for that? And it's a weird thing to take that away from a character. I've seen contrast to it because, we've all seen the Harry Potter movies and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The Ron Weasley in the books was a lot more supportive and a lot more entertaining as a character and had a lot more, character to him in general. The one in the movies is just a prick. And he doesn't get any of the redeeming features. They took them away from him. Which kind of defeats the purpose of Ron at that point. And the same thing is going to happen with soccer. What are they going to replace this mentality with? Is it just going to be blind hatred of everything Fire Nation? Because he gets over that pretty quick as well. Yeah. He doesn't like them, but when they start merging into the Fire Nation at one point in that series, he has to come to grips with the fact that they're just people who have been told that they're right.
Yeah.
And it's going to be...
Hell, if I recall, some of them don't even really understand, like, the war.
Yeah.
They've never been part of it.
Yeah, a lot of them in the actual Fire Nation itself don't even think the war is still going. They think they've won. It's like, oh, the war? No, that's done. Everyone knows that we win. Like, we're the leaders and everything. Fire Nation is best nation. And, yeah, I'm a bit concerned with what they're going to replace that sexism with, and how they're going to deal with it. Because it can't be anti-Bender, because, like, that's a whole thing later on. And he's never anti-Bender. He's just annoyed that he doesn't have bending powers.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping it's okay. Like, they might still hit it out the park. I don't know. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah. I mean, every time we're critical of stuff on this show, we're hoping to eat crow.
Yeah, absolutely.
We want to come on the episode after that drops and be like, oh yeah, no, dude, it was legit. It's amazing. You should fucking watch it.
Absolutely. I'd be more than happy to eat crow on this, but it's one of those things where I don't see it happening because they're taking a core progression method for a character and just eliminating it. So either that character won't have progression, or they're going to change that progression to something different. As long as they don't do something stupid like give him bending powers, then we'll be fine.
Well, the thing is, though, like, a small change like that makes me worried about what could potentially be bigger changes. Like, I don't know how much this covers, but, like, if they can't handle something as simple and that even the character gets over to some degree reasonably quickly, how are you going to do episodes like Sokka going and finding his swordmaster?
Yeah.
The whole impetus from that is him feeling depressed and not a contributing part of the team because he can't bend.
Yeah. He has a crisis identity.
And all the other characters are like, well, we all found masters, that's how we got better, so you need to go find one.
Yeah, absolutely.
How are you going to have that properly conveyed if you can't do something as simple as he's a little bit sexist because of his setting, but he gets the fuck over it?
I could understand, like, dialing down the sexism to a point.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because, like, just dial it down to the point of I must protect these girls because they can't do it themselves. Because he was in a village that was nothing but women and, like, older women kind of thing. And I think there was a few old men who couldn't hunt or anything anymore. So he actually...
No, there was no men.
Oh, that's right, yeah, they were all gone.
It's just the couple of... It was children and women are the only ones who stayed.
Yeah.
And Sokka was told to look after them.
Yeah, so he had to do hunting, that kind of stuff, and was very much, instilled in him by all the warriors leading who ran that fucking tribe. You now must run this. You must protect everyone. So, of course, it makes sense that he would get that kind of complex.
Yeah.
But I don't know how they're going to get around that. This change could be a very strange one.
And I find it weird that, like, I watched that show, and I acknowledge all of this stuff, and enjoyed his growth and eventual abandoning of this stuff.
Yeah.
I never thought about it until someone went, oh yeah, we're taking that out. Wait, hang on.
Yeah. It's one of those things, because we were talking about it in the preamble, and we both realized that we went to a very nerdy college, and we both come from, like, I come from a very rural background, and Seth, you grew up in, like, major city kind of thing, and that kind of stuff. But we didn't have the greatest of attitudes when we went to that university, because we'd never really had to deal with that kind of thing, or having women in a friend group kind of thing. Yeah. And I'll admit, after watching Avatar, I got a bit of a better handle on things. It didn't fix everything right away. It took some time and effort. Yeah. But it was enough to see, oh, these are bad things in my mentality. I need to fix that. So it's like one of those things where showing someone who has a bad perspective and watching them gradually change and grow as a person really helps other people get out of that kind of mentality as well.
especially when it's presented in a entertaining way.
Oh, absolutely.
Like watching, because like the big one for Sokka is pretty early on. They go to Kyoshi Island. And they meet the warrior women of Kyoshi, and they fucking kick his ass.
Yeah.
And there's all this fun slapstick to show that women aren't weak; they're perfectly strong, and they can kick your ass.
And not just that, like, towards the end of that episode, he's wearing the makeup, he's got the battle dress on, he's basically saying, your way of doing things is clearly superior to what I've been doing. Teach me how to do this better. And it's a healthy way of getting over those things, and it's really good. But it makes me sad that either they don't know the source material enough to realize that this is a flaw that gradually changes and gets fixed, or they just didn't care enough and didn't want put it in the too hard basket. We don't want to get people getting angry that Sokka is racist or sexist in any way.
I get the feeling that they just wanted characters.
Yeah.
I mean, look at so many characters and stuff lately. They're the most basic version of a thing.
Yeah.
Instead of
boiled down to
heroes can't have flaws anymore. They have to be heroes.
Everyone has Superman syndrome.
Paragons.
Yeah. Like, everyone's got the Superman syndrome at this point, where it's like, oh no, they're perfect. Like, no, show me characters who have flaws. I want to be able to identify with this character.
I mean, I think one of the I mean, hell, even the main character, like a lot of people would say, Aang is kind of that.
Yeah.
He's kind of a flawless character. But you kind of, like, at the start, they don't show it a lot. It's really after, this is sort of some late show spoilers if you haven't seen it, but the show's pretty old at this point.
Yeah, it's a few years.
Is after Azula shoots him with the lightning. And he becomes afraid of turning into the Avatar.
Yeah.
Because he's got trauma.
Yeah. There is so much trauma wrapped up in Aang. He also is just racked with self-doubt. Like, the entire crux of one season is he doubts he can take on the Fire Lord. So he starts sabotaging things to slow them down so they don't get to that thing in time, and doing things that way. It's a huge point that he is terrified of being the Avatar. It's like,
hell, the entire show kicks off.
Yeah.
Because he was told he was the Avatar, he was scared, and he ran away.
Yeah. They told him too early, and he panicked and ran. But, yeah, it's... I have hope that they might be able to do something with the characters, change them in a way that they are still getting that kind of flaw progression.
Yeah.
But I honestly, I agree with the fans on this one. It shouldn't have been changed. It's the same as, like, Chief taking off the helmet. It's something that is built into that, like, property. It's like, why would you change a foundation point? Like, a big story point later, why would you change that so early? But we'll see how that goes.
Pretty much. I mean, like, we're talking a lot of shit here, but, like, again, I'm hoping that when I fire up that show and watch it, it's like, oh yeah, we didn't need it.
Yeah.
They did something else, and it was just as good.
Absolutely. At the moment, we're more worried for what's going to happen with this project as opposed to shitting on it. It's like...
It's because they're removing a small fine detail.
Yeah.
So it's like, but the show's built on fine details.
Yeah.
Did you put in new fine details to build a new show out of, or are you just excising everything and cuttering everything?
And there's also, like, evidence of this happening to other things previously. Like, the original Funimation cut of One Piece wrote itself into a corner because they cut out an entire arc that they thought was just filler. Nothing from Oda was filler. And at which point, they kept referring back to it, and it didn't exist.
Oda does filler. The problem is, the filler's like 40% of something.
Yeah.
So, the other 60% is like, no, I'm coming back to that later.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it's weird. But it's one of those things where they might accidentally write themselves into a corner where they can't progress a certain point without having to, like, force it. So it won't be as organic, and won't flow as well as it did. And, I mean... We always knew the definitive version of Avatar was the animated version. Like, we all knew this.
Yeah. I don't think you're ever going to do better than that.
Yeah. Like...
It's not like it was a flawed product where, like, someone else could be like, ooh, I can add a little more to this.
Yeah.
And it'll be good.
Honestly, I think the only reason we have a
a
live-action version is because, like, M. Night Shyamalan decided to fuck it up so badly that it's now a point where everyone's like, no, we have to redeem it in the live action sense. Like, no.
I think that's also probably why people are feeling a little more critical of this
definitely.
Netflix adaptation.
Absolutely.
We got burned already.
Yeah.
So we're sitting here going, are you going to burn me again?
Yeah, absolutely. We are very wary at the moment.
Whereas if, like, there'd never been Shyamalan's thing.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, oh, yeah, we're going to change a couple things. We're like, okay, sure, let's see what you do. Shyamalan went, I'm going to change some things. And fucked it.
You couldn't even get the main character's name right.
What the fuck?
But
I swear that man hates his kids.
Oh, yeah, no. I made this for my kids. Like, do you hate them? Do we need to call, like, the child support hotline? What happened? But on from, like, Netflix weird things that could be bad to just Netflix bitching and moaning about a thing they did.
I mean, it's less a thing they did and more just an expected thing they were going to bitch about, which is, of course, the rise of piracy.
Like, after, like, once they had started having, like, more than 3 streaming services, everyone knew piracy was going to come back. But then, when Netflix and, like, other ones started cracking down where you can't share an account, it's like, no, we're just done now. Because, like, we know so many friend groups that share Netflix accounts and share access to other streaming services. Because then you only need to subscribe to one of them, share it with your friends, and you get access to theirs. And it's a great system. Sure, Netflix doesn't get as much money as they would love to have, but these people stay on their platform. It was a bad decision. They should have rolled that back, and instead now they're just bitching about the fact that everyone said, no, fuck you. We're going to go and do what we used to do, which is find other ways of getting the content. Like, we always knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
But we always knew that Netflix and other places would complain about it happening. Like,
yeah. And I mean, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Oh no, our thing where we're raising prices and cracking down and adding ads is coming back to bite our ass.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought that would happen?
Oh god, the fact that ads are being put onto it is horrible. The entire thing they sold Netflix and everything else on was the fact that there were no ads.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're never going to have ads on our platform. Oh wait, you have ads on your platform.
Yeah.
So for us in Australia, it's the same as Austar. When they started putting outside ads on that system. Like, I was okay with it being, you know, a couple of ads here and there for things that were airing on their system or on their other channels. Yeah. But then it became full 5-minute reels of ads, even if it was stuff on their system.
Yeah.
And then they started advertising, like, Doritos and other shit. It's like, fuck off. Why am I paying extra money for this system? It's not the content, because I can find that everywhere else now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, it's not, it's from before our time, but it reminds me of when piracy was being brought up in the music industry years and years ago. It was like, oh, cassette,
old Napster.
Yeah, and everyone's like, oh, cassette tapes. It was even before that, cassette tapes. Oh, recording off the radio will kill the music industry. The music industry was fine. There was no issue.
Yeah.
And then Napster came along and said, oh no, that's going to destroy our industry and our income. Like, no, people still bought CDs. They still bought other shit.
Oddly enough, you know what is killing the music industry? Streaming.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just, it's one of those weird things that happens. You either adapt or you die. And in most cases, industries will adapt. Like, the streaming has made it easier for like artists to make money. But a lot of those big companies or the studios don't make as much money because they're no longer able to capitalize on their artists.
And again, it all depends on which one you're talking about. Like, Spotify's terrible for artists.
Oh yeah, it's horrible.
The number of views listens you need to get to make, like, cents on the dollar is dumb.
Oh yeah, it's insane, and that's going to hurt them in the long run, I think, because eventually people will stop putting shit on their system.
At the same time, they've got the largest market share.
Yeah. Like, it's one of those things where you just have some of your discography on there just to get people, like, into it. And then...
Well, you can have your discography on there, but, like, you also need a Bandcamp or something like that where you can sell your album.
Absolutely.
And quite honestly, and I've bought albums for some of my favorite artists.
Oh, yeah.
You have to buy them.
Yeah, pretty much. Like it's one of those things. If I like a property, I will buy stuff for it.
Oh, yeah.
Like I can read.
I like owning.
Yeah, I can read all of One Piece on like the Shonen Jump app thing. I'm buying the physical manga. Like, I want.
Oh yeah,
it's great. But it's the same with other.
I keep trying to talk myself into buying all of Berserk.
Yeah. I'm still trying to find.
Problem is that's $80 a book.
Yeah, it's a bit dangerous, but it's so good.
Oh, but I mean, like they're big, full-size hardcovers. It's like, I know it's worth it, but $80.
Yeah. It's one of those things like once a month. Like, yeah, I'll grab another one.
Yeah,
but it's like if nerds do it a lot. Like if we like a property, we will support that property. Either we'll buy merchandise for it, or we'll buy the actual thing itself. Give us the chance, and we will support that community. Well, most of us will. Some people are just cunts.
Yeah.
But you'll find them everywhere. But,
although, one community I'm not so happy's gotten bigger again is good old Crunchyroll.
Yeah, that's a weird one. Like, I didn't know this had happened until we mentioned the preamble, so, like, run me through it again.
So, basically, Funimation ate Crunchyroll, but they liked Crunchyroll's presence within the community more, so they're becoming Crunchyroll.
Yeah. Essentially, they're trying to, like, infiltrate the community again, because most of the anime community...
Oh, no, they're not infiltrating shit.
Yeah, we all know about it. But...
Crunchyroll's running the show.
Yeah. But it was like one of those weird things where like they had some really good dubs. I'm not going to lie. Their dubs were great. And they were one of the only ways we could really get anime into Australia
you
for a
could
long
basically
time.
guarantee Funimation and Madman and most of the reason any Australian knows that about.
Absolutely. But they also didn't have the greatest like community, really. It got a bit toxic within the Funimation communities. That's where a lot of the dub versus sub fights happened and that kind of stuff. And it was...
Well, I mean, Funimation also fed into it.
They did.
They made themselves out like it's this big elite thing because they had all of One Piece.
Yeah.
The big mega animes were all Funimation.
Yeah. But Crunchyroll was very laid back and it's like, yeah, we don't care. We're going to do this and people love them for it.
I mean, Crunchyroll originally was a piracy site.
Yeah. A piracy site that went legit. It's like, fuck yeah, this is great. And now that they've been
unfortunately, they're a shite product.
Yeah.
At least for Australia. I want to emphasize that in Australia, Crunchyroll fucking sucks.
Yeah, it was not the best. Like
restricted, geolocated, restricted content. Your streaming servers aren't in our country, so they run like garbage. It's not a great experience using Crunchyroll.
That's why we loved. What was the other way? Anime Lab when it was here.
Anime Lab.
Because they had Australian servers. They had the infrastructure.
Well, they were run by Madman.
Yeah. And then they got eaten by Funimation as well. And Funimation just kind of didn't merge anything. They still kept everything separate. Which, I get. They want to try
for a little while until they folded it in.
Yeah. They wanted to keep things a little bit, gated. It was like, oh, if you want this, go to this one. Pay a separate subscription. They could have kept all three sites, in my eyes, been fine if one account connected them all. Or one subscription.
I mean, this is the thing I've said before. No one wants a monopoly.
Yeah.
That's terrible. That's a bad thing. What people want is a monopoly of access.
Yes. We want to be able to get into it with one price.
People desire to go to one place and get all their stuff.
Yeah. Pretty much. Even if there was
but they want the stuff that's on that place to be competitive.
Yeah. Pretty much. Like, we don't want it all in one person's hands, which is kind of hilarious considering we live in the Murdoch, Australia. But... Oh, fuck, I hope he dies soon. But it's one of those, like, annoying things. We want access for cheap, but at the same time, we don't want complete monopoly. Or even a duopoly. Look at Coles and Woolies.
Yeah.
Like, they've got that, and they work together to fuck us now.
Yeah. So, we want the diversity, but, like, people crave to only have to go to one place. I know there was I think it was Ver was trying really hard to make that a thing.
They were.
But because you still had to sign into every account and it was all still segregated, it didn't quite work.
Yeah.
GOG did a similar thing. You can actually log into all of your, Steam and Uplay and all that into GOG, and it'll show you all the games you own, but they're all still segregated within their browsers.
Yeah, and the fact that even with things like the Game Pass. I keep saying Pay Pass, my brain isn't working, but they don't interact over servers. So it's like there's no co-play, despite it being the same platform essentially, like all the same like PC version. They just kind of have that gating still. So it's like we're still in that point.
Well, more recently, I actually kind of get the Game Pass thing.
Yeah.
Because it's so much harder to push a version update on Game Pass.
Yeah, because Microsoft wants to micromanage everything about updates.
I mean, that's just console development.
Yeah.
When you put something out on console, you have to submit a new whole build to their server.
Yeah.
Whereas, Steam's just like, oh yeah, sure, whatever, update your bucket.
Which does cause issues on Steam in a separate way. Let's be honest.
But it's like, that's something I learnt more recently because of Power.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Because they had some big version discrepancy between Steam and Game Pass. And I learned a little more about how that works.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, that's why they waited for big content updates to update the Game Pass.
Which I get to a point.
Instead of the rolling update the normal game.
But, yeah.
Look, Netflix, deal with it.
Pretty much.
You have to have a better product.
Yeah.
I'll always jump back to the thing Gabe Newell said about Steam. To beat pirates, you don't just yell at them. You have to have a better product.
Yeah. You have to make
Unfortunately, the product you're trying to compete with is free. That means you have to really bring it.
Yeah.
And when Netflix went, we have all the content, just pay me $10. Guess what? We all went and used it.
Absolutely. Like, honestly, at this point, if we had a version of Steam for TV shows and that kind of thing, where instead of it being a subscription, free access to the portal or the product, and then you just buy the property for cheap.
Make it very a la carte.
Yeah. If I could just buy all of Stargate and then just have that sitting in a library somewhere, I'd be happy with that.
You know what? I'm not opposed to.
Right?
The pricing has to be good.
Oh, definitely. You have to pay much less than an actual physical release thing.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just spitballing here because your idea is good. Maybe $10-15 for a season.
Yeah. I would happily pay that, absolutely. Maybe if it's a brand new thing, $20 a season. If it's like Mandalorian, I would probably pay the $20 to get the season.
There's definitely things I would pay more of a premium.
Yeah. But once you have it, you have it. It can't be taken off the system, it's just there. Give us that option. Yeah. If we want to download something, let us download it. Don't just make it a streamable thing. Just give us the option to hold that in the cloud somewhere, or hold it on the server if we want to get it again later, re-download it.
I don't even mind if you create a Plex app.
Yeah.
And the downloaded episodes can only be run through that app. But they're on my system.
Yeah. They're on my PC and ready to go. I would be so happy for that. Take torrenting and make that a legitimate thing people can do, the public can use.
Hell, you want to save yourself some bandwidth? Use peer-to-peer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let your community make it easier for your community. I mean, it's what Steam does.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If you're on the same network as someone who's already downloaded the game, you don't download it from Steam. It transfers over your network.
Yeah. It's a smart way of doing things. The industry itself has to adapt. Streaming isn't going to work long term anymore because every man and his dog has that streaming.
Yeah.
Or their own streaming. But if you give us a way to legally download digital versions of media, not just games, sure, I'll do it. Yeah. Fuck yeah, be great.
Hell, I'd be pretty down for that for music.
Oh, hells yes. You can do it with Spotify to a point, but it's still a monthly subscription.
Yeah, but if Spotify pulls the artist, it doesn't matter if you download it.
Yeah, pretty much. What we are describing there for music is basically iTunes, but I fucking hate iTunes. Mostly because of their UI and a few other things. The actual process of downloading your music and having it in the system, fine with. I just don't like the gatekeeping Apple does.
Yeah, I'm not a big Apple fan.
Yeah.
Oh, I want a more, user agnostic service.
Pretty much, yeah. But that would be perfect. That's what I want. I don't want streaming anymore. Just let me legally download digital copies.
Yeah.
Like, I'll purchase them. Just let me have them and price them accordingly. Like, I'm not going to pay $500 for all of Friends. But...
No, sorry. Guys.
But at the same time, I'll, pay a small amount to get access to that and download it to my own system.
Yeah. Absolutely. Do we want to get on to the next thing?
Yeah, might as well.
There's been a big hubbub of late because it seems like Microsoft is looking to get into more of the service market where their games are going to be on multiple platforms, not Xbox exclusive.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are getting a lot of hubbub about whether or not they're even going to keep doing the console or not. I've been saying it for a long time. Even before we started doing this podcast. Yeah. Xbox is getting out of the console market and it's getting into the service market.
Yeah.
And guess what? It's way ahead of everyone else in that game.
Oh, definitely. And, we've mentioned it before in, I think a previous podcast, they're probably never going to stop making the next Xbox because there's always that market to sell them, essentially.
It all comes down to whether or not they can get other platforms to take Game Pass.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think if they ever manage to get Game Pass over the line on PlayStation, you'll see the Xbox disappear.
Oh, definitely. But I don't see Sony ever making that decision, just out of spite more than anything.
Oh, yeah, no, they would never let it happen.
Yeah. They're barely even talking to Steam currently. It's like, yeah, we'll give you a couple of games, if you're nice.
They're pretty good. I mean, Horizon is coming next.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things where I'm surprised that Sony hasn't cashed in on Steam by releasing a bunch of their old back catalog games.
I'm surprised they haven't bothered to PC update any of their PS2 or PS3 games.
Yeah, we are clamoring for it.
I guarantee you, tomorrow, if they were I've got them War, all of it.
Yeah.
Not Ragnarok and the Viking one, they can still be separate. Put all the PS2 and PS3 ones, just throw them up
Just call them Legacy and be done with it. And yes, I will buy them again because I'd never have to buy them after that.
Yeah.
They will work on a PC.
Don't fucking say some shit about how the cell architecture of the PS3 is too hard to transfer. Fuck you!
We have emulators.
They got re-released on the PS4.
Yeah. We also have emulation softwares. It's not that hard to bundle that in. Build a little launcher for it that when you, get the first one, you have access to that. It'll be fine. I will accept a launcher in that respect. But it's possible. You can do it. It's not even that hard to really do. The product exists out there. Buy it and then just integrate it.
Yeah.
It's... But then again, they spend half their time suing people. It's you made an emulator. Fuck you. You can't do that. No.
Yeah, I know, right?
Take that emulator, buy it from them because they've made a product that functions, and then re-release it under your brand. It's a very simple procedure. But
hell, even if you do it yourself, who cares?
Yeah.
The point is, there's a market that hasn't had these products, and they're just sitting there in your vault.
Yeah, doing nothing.
Just give them out to people again, for fuck's sake.
Get people excited for your brand again by showing them your golden era. Hell, Disney did it with their vault.
Yeah.
You could go back in the vault and watch all the old Disney movies. You could watch all the old cartoons. It was great.
Yeah.
It got people excited for Disney again. And then they fucked it. But still,
Yeah. Just don't do that.
Yeah, don't do the second half where you fuck over your audience to a point where you just assume they're all idiots.
Point is, I don't think Microsoft's as in danger as people say it is. I've been hearing a lot of doomsaying lately, and it's this has been a long-term plan.
Honestly,
they've been angling in this direction for so long, and you just didn't notice.
I'm assuming people just didn't notice that was happening, and also probably the Sony fanboys again going, ooh, look, you're gonna fall over now. Hoping, I guess. It's a bit strange. I still don't quite understand the rivalry between them. I just want to have access to this media so I can play it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't want it gatekept by a bunch of fuckwits. And I say that as a fuckwit. Come on. You're giving our people a bad name. And we already had a bad name.
Right, before we get into our main topic for this episode, there is one thing I thought was hilarious that I completely forgot to talk about in the preamble.
Oh, fun.
fucking Charles finally getting the crown and then getting cancer.
Yeah, I saw that the other day.
Like, it's not funny that someone has cancer.
Yeah, horrible
That
disease.
sucks.
It's a very
But after
thing.
so many years waiting to get his spot in the sun, and he gets...
It's like, I've waited for so many years to get my spot in the sun. Melanomas. Just all the melanomas. Like, it's horrible that he has cancer. It's not a fun thing. But he also has so much money that he will... There's a good chance he's going to get through it. Even with his advanced age.
Look, even if he doesn't...
And let's be honest, no one really wants him as king. We would much rather have...
no one cares.
What's the eldest one at the moment?
Did the eldest renounce it?
No, Harry renounced.
Harry the old one?
No, Harry's the younger one. He's the Ranger. It's not Charles.
I don't think we care enough to figure it out.
Australia doesn't care enough. We're just wondering who we're cheesing when we have that day of drinking. But, honestly, it'll just pass on to someone who, let's be honest, is probably more beloved than Charles. Because he's kind of a...
Charles is kind of a joke.
He's a racist bigot, and we don't want him there. Like, just move him away. It's fine. We're not putting him on the money. We'll put someone else on there.
Like I said, that came up this week, and it's just like... And
like this long. That's just Lizzie, like that last little twist of the knife up in wherever the hell she ended up. Just like, take that. You finally got the chair. Joke's on you. I booby trapped it.
So, the thing we thought we'd actually talk about for the back half of this episode is I don't think we've ever done an episode on it. Although, actually, one thing I forgot to get your opinion of at the start of this. Last week was episode 104.
Oh, shit. Which
means as of last week, we have done one episode for 2 years every week.
Yeah. That's not bad, actually. I'm honestly surprised we made it this far without getting distracted by something shiny.
I know, right? And that's not including bonus episodes or Might Play.
Yeah. This is just standard podcasty, episodes.
Yeah. So, We've hit the one per week mark, and I think we've missed like 2 episodes in that entire release time.
Yeah, and one of them was because everything was either on fire or flooding. Yeah. Another one was Christmas. Christmas.
Everyone knew it would take.
Yeah.
So, pretty good. Anything you'd like to say on the last 2 years?
I have really enjoyed annoying the crap out of the two of you for the last 2 years. Like, honestly, I do... We've said it numerous times. We do this because we'd be doing it anyway. But it's more like a scheduled hangout with you guys that we just started recording. And I am very happy that it's lasted this long. The fact that people listen to it still confuses me.
All right.
Yeah, for the longest time, I thought we only had, 1 or 2 people who actually listen to us. Apparently there's more of you out there. So that's always fun to know. I assumed it was just my mum. Because she'll listen to basically anything.
What? Your mum and Craig?
Yes.
Hey, Craig.
Hi, Craig.
Yeah. So, that happened.
Yeah.
But yes, the thing I don't think we've actually talked about ever, actually on this show, is music.
Yeah, somehow we've talked about books, we've talked about TV and movies and games, but we've never talked about the stuff we've listened to. Apart from, not podcasts, audiobooks and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we have some pretty eclectic taste, let's be honest.
Yeah, we do.
I guarantee I live in someone's head just because of my weird taste in music. I absolutely do. But I started off listening to a bunch of the stuff you would expect someone like me to have listened to, Weird Al and that kind of stuff when I was much, much younger. And I still enjoy a good Weird Al polka, not gonna lie. It's good fun. But I was brought up on things like the old school rock, so AC/DC, Van Halen, all that kind of stuff.
Back when we were kids, your only access to music was what did your dad listen to?
Yeah, and thankfully my old man listened to a lot of decent rock. He also got me into things like bluegrass and that kind of folky music, which has really stuck with me growing up. One of my favorite things will always be bluegrass, despite the fact I'm not religious and I don't really care for that kind of stuff. I still love bluegrass, which is very steeped in that culture. And jazz. I love me some good jazz.
Did I ever tell you about a band called Black Swan?
I think he did a while ago, actually. I don't think I ever got around to listening to them because I got distracted by something shiny.
Heavy metal with a bluegrass vibe.
Oh yes, no, I think I have listened to them. I've also heard. I think it popped up on a playlist on Spotify, which was Spooky Banjo Time, which was
yeah, I can believe that
gothic bluegrass. It's so nice. It's really good. I love that kind of stuff. Like it. I just like that kind of ingenuity or mixing of genre.
See, like, my problem is I listen to such a absurdly wide range of music. It's like, what am I listening to right now? Like, right now, I've gotten weirdly into a thing called bardcore.
Yeah, you mentioned this in the preamble.
Which is essentially people taking modern music and then either using old-timey instruments to play it, or changing the lyrics to be more medieval appropriate, or in some way. Like the absolute earworm I've been listening to, and I'll throw it in the show notes. I can spread this affliction. It's a song. It's a cover by the Miracle Alina. It's In the End by Linkin Park, but in Latin.
I love that,
and it's weirdly good.
Yeah.
I really hate that I love it because it's a fucking song.
Well, like. It's about time you got me addicted to something else, because I think I got you addicted to electro swing after a mate of ours, Rat Boy, got me addicted to it.
I knew of it, but you found me the bands that really got me.
Yeah, so like Caravan Palace and that kind of stuff, and a few other mixes and that thing. But I love me some electro swing, which is kind of the opposite of bardcore, because they've taken old school swing music and given it like an electro feel. And remixed it that way. So this one's taking like new stuff and making it old timey, and I love that. It's a great concept, and also it's what we want from media. Like the whole thing of intellectual property laws getting extended and that kind of thing, kind of stifled media progression for a while. You couldn't make remixes without getting in trouble. There's actually one of the things I loved, and I haven't listened to his stuff in a while. Do you remember DJ Pogo?
Yeah, the dude who did the remixes from like Toy Story.
Yeah, he's actually an Australian guy. He lives in, I think, WA. Or lived there. I think he's moved across the pond at this point. But he made these things for Pixar, essentially, because they found Opula, which is the first big one he made that exploded on YouTube.
Toy Noise.
That's right. That's the one they spotted. But it was enough that Pixar saw this, and everyone's like, oh, fuck, they're gonna cancel him, they're gonna get him to remove everything. It's like, no, here's a bunch of our files, can you make more of this? And he did, and it was great.
I would still highly recommend if you want to look him up, although he's got lots of good music. Toy Noise and Opula are probably his two.
They're the ones that everyone will always remember, but there's one which is he just took some samples around the house and recorded his mum. And I can't remember the name of it, but it's a really chill, mellow vibe to it. It's very nice just to listen to. All his stuff's on Spotify as well. Easy to find.
No, it's not.
How did they remove it?
A lot of it isn't.
Oh.
Things like Toy Noise and Opula aren't on Spotify.
Oh, bugger. I know some of his stuff was still there. But at the same time, there's other things that we listen to on the regular. Like, on repeat at the moment for me, is we could probably make our own separate section just called On Repeat at this point, which is the stuff we're listening to this week, because it'll change depending on the weather. I'm still listening to 2 Minute Notice. Like,
that's good.
It is a really good song. Like Vizzy Pop and the people who help them write their songs, that's a banger. That's an anthem for our generation.
That's our yeah, absolutely. The entire thing of you know what, this boss does kind of suck a little bit. And I say that as a boss.
Yeah. we've all had that
Shit
shitty
sucks.
manager, essentially. That one person who takes things a bit too far and pushes for you to
So-
do more and more and more without paying you for it. And yeah.
An entire song about basically telling that guy, go fuck yourself.
And
Yeah, our generation loves that shit.
yeah, it's great. I do find it funny the amount of millennials who are now becoming managers and they don't care. Like, they don't do the same things. It's amazing. So we are.
I mean, they learn.
Yeah, we're slowly breaking
They
that
got
toxic
their-
cycle.
They saw their face get punched in and were like, well, I'm gonna not do that.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, it's one of those things where if you grow up with a very abusive parent, you try not to be that abusive parent. You know, and a lot of people learn from those mistakes and change. And we see that reflected in music now, which is lovely.
A band that I think needs more recognition than it has is this band called One Morning Left.
That sounds very familiar.
It's basically a rock group.
Yeah.
Maybe a rock sort of pop group. Except randomly one of their singers is like a death metal guy.
There's a few like that. I
Like
love it.
full growl.
That's perfect.
But just one of them.
Yeah.
All the other guys sing like normal singers. Just one guy's a metalhead.
That reminds me of the Japanese metal band that just adopted a full-on metal like screamo artist into them. I can't remember who it is.
I could not
They
tell you.
toured recently. It's two basically two idols, and they just grabbed this death metal guy in as well. The name escapes me. I do love their stuff. I just can't remember it because my brain isn't working today. It's currently screaming at me, and there's a tiny gremlin with a jackhammer. Oh, that's gonna bug me. So whilst you think of more things to actually wait, talk to people about Soviet Wave because you got me addicted to that for a while.
Unfortunately, okay, the biggest issue with Soviet Wave
Is the Soviets?
You can't look it up on, well, that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, it has very little to do with like, current Russia.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you can't look it up on Spotify. Like, I have tried multiple times to find a playlist that I can consider Soviet Wave on Spotify.
Yeah.
It's basically not doable.
Ooh, baby metal.
But
That's
if you-
what I was thinking of.
Really? Baby Metal's 3 females, and they don't have a male lead.
Maybe that's. Oh wait, yeah, you're right. That's. I saw the name and it triggered. Like, nope, different one. You're right. I'll find it.
Yeah.
I'll find it.
You can look up Soviet Wave on YouTube, and it's weirdly good. Like, it would absolutely. If you go on YouTube, you look it up. Look up it's a playlist called. It's a track. It goes for 40 minutes called "Our Dream." It's probably my favorite Soviet Wave mix. The idea is that the music is supposed to invoke the sense of like we can do it
Yeah.
of the Soviets during the space race.
Yes.
And it really, really does.
Oh yeah. And the weird thing is, you listen
I don't
to
know
it.
how to describe it.
You listen to it, and you can say, "Yes, this is Soviet. This is nothing but that era." And I don't know exactly what it is that does it. I think it's like the heavy synth reliance.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff, because they loved their synth music for a while.
Actually, I just jumped on YouTube to look it up. There's actually a YouTube channel called New Soviet Wave, which has like all of my favorite mixes.
Ooh, nice.
So I might put that in the show notes.
Like-
I don't know.
It's one of those things, like, I'm pretty sure both of us have broken Spotify. It does not know what to recommend me. It keeps going, do you want 8-bit music from games? Like, no, I've never once listened to this. Why are you giving this to me? Like, I don't
Just
know,
because I
man!
listen to one song on repeat for 9 hours doesn't mean I want more of it.
Yeah. It's just the ADHD kicking in. But, like, I listen to, like, my random playlist, I have to, like, warn people ahead of time if I play that in my car. It's like, look, this is going to be weird. There's going to be some stuff. There might be some Mongolian throat singing.
Oh, yeah.
We don't know. It could happen.
Oh, yeah.
It's in there. It's like, it'll randomly go from The Muppets to Disturbed to Two Steps from Hell, which is a great orchestral thing. If you've ever watched a movie trailer, you've listened to their stuff. It's everything in there.
Oh, yeah.
And it's full-on stuff, too, and it's gorgeously done. Then there's, like, electro swing, a bunch of other stuff, some very weird, dark country music will come on. It's a strange vibe, because I am a strange person.
Actually, speaking of things that people might not know about, do you know there's like that YouTube channel on that just loops what is it, lo-fi hip hop?
Yes, I listened to that at work.
You know it has a brother channel?
Yep. So I remember
it's just a synthwave.
Yeah. I remember when they released it, because it was just they kept zooming in on a window in the background that was blue. I was like, what the fuck is this blue window? And then it became a different guy. It was great.
Oh, because the girl leaves.
Yeah.
And then they do the guy, and then it goes back, and then the girl comes back, and you get your lo-fi beats again.
Yeah.
But I just think it's odd, because I'm a massive synthwave fan.
Yeah.
So to me, having this, like, I can go on YouTube and listen to just this loop of, like, quality lo-fi synthwave.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
Honestly, like, trap music and synthwave are really fun, because if they loop really well, you don't know it's ever stopping.
Yeah.
And weirdly enough, that if there's no definitive end, if it loops perfectly enough, you kind of zone it out, and it just helps you focus and do things.
Yeah.
And weirdly enough, this has happened in other, like, very old songs. Like, do you know the song "What's New Pussycat"?
Yes.
That fades out, and if you loop it, it starts back up with "What's New Pussycat," and you can't tell when it loops. I had a friend years ago who worked at an airport who actually ran that in the back dock, and they got it going for about 3 hours before someone realized, like, is this the same song? Because you just kind of filter it out, and it's just there. It's amazing.
I'm actually going to see one of my favorite synth bands live.
Oh, nice. Which one?
It's a band that I really like called The Midnight.
That sounds familiar. I think you've mentioned them before.
I have. I showed you a song of theirs called Vampires, which is over the video for Wicked City.
That's right. That was a good song, actually. I quite like that one.
Those guys are amazing. They're an amazing synth artist. They're actually playing Brisbane soon.
Oh, nice.
Go see The Midnight.
Ooh. If you like, let me know when it is. I might pop into that one. It sounds fun.
Oh, I'll shoot you a link.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Although I think my favorite synth band is Gumshoe.
Yes, I have heard them. You've definitely sent me their stuff, and they are very good.
I mostly sent them to you because they have these amazingly animated clips that make you cry.
Which, honestly, that did help get me into it, I'm not going to lie. But, honestly, half the time is, like, you and me will just influence each other's tastes in music randomly out of nowhere every few months. Because one of us or a friend of ours will find something weird, send it to us, like, have you seen The Thing? And we just spam each other with it.
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly how it happens.
Yeah.
So.
Like, it's one of those things. I refuse to make any of my Spotify playlists public just because of how weird they are. But, yeah.
I think I only have one public playlist, which is my oldies mix.
Yeah.
Because people kept asking me for it.
Yeah, no, fair. My sister has a really good mix on Spotify for, like, the 90s and early 2000s. Which is technically oldies now, which makes me sad.
I know, right?
Yeah, but occasionally I just go back to that, because it's like the party mix from when I was in high school, essentially. It was really good. Like Nirvana, all that kind of stuff. Foo Fighters, all the good stuff. But because that's what I grew up on, and there's a soft spot in my heart for it.
Whereas, I have weird spots in my heart for people like Psychosonic.
Yeah.
Who I'm sure... there's probably, if I'm lucky, one person who recognizes the name Psychosonic.
I only know it because you've mentioned it before. Would not have heard it previously.
Because, I guarantee probably a lot of our generation has heard at least one song done by Psychosonic, because he did the opening theme for Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Yeah. It was a good
his
song
1993 album, just titled Psychosonic, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah. It's pretty fun. Actually, I think you put me onto them, but Saturday morning breakfast cereal.
Sounds like something I listen to.
Essentially, it's the guys who took a bunch of old TV, like cartoon intros, and metalified them. They're fucking great.
No, that's Power Glove.
Oh, it was Power Glove. I think Saturday Morning Breakfast Cereal did something similar, but not quite. But Power Glove, yes, they did some good ones. Their Batman Forever cover. Oh, it's so... Because it has the rain, it has everything in it, and it works so well. Actually, I think Saturday Morning Breakfast Cereal might be the name of one of their albums. Maybe I'm confusing it there.
That sounds...
Yeah.
But I know the band I would have shown you who did that
Power Glove.
was Power.
And they were great. They're still in regular rotation in my stuff. I love their stuff.
Although, speaking of remixes, I would highly suggest people check out an artist called Survival Spheres.
I think I've
What
heard
they do is they... I know I showed them to you at some point. What they do is they take music from horror games.
Yeah.
And because a lot of old horror games, you had limited space, you can only use so many instruments. They try and go, okay, so what was the vibe this song was going for, and then intensify.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
And that's their entire shtick. And they are fucking amazing. I walked into my job one day. I'm usually one of the first people to get at work. And I'm alone in the building, and I just happened to have Survival Spheres on, and I freaked myself.
That is fair.
You got too into the headspace of, like, Silent Hill, and I'm just like, nope, I'm not okay. I need to find one room and turn all the lights on.
Yeah, that's fair. Especially, like, that one day a year that Australia gets a misty morning would be that one day you accidentally have that going.
Oh, man. When we get that misty morning, though, we transferred to Silent Hill for 10 minutes.
Oh, absolutely. Like... the three of us in general are horror fans, so we like to freak ourselves out, and occasionally you just want to scare yourself. But, good stuff. I need to look into that one a bit more, but music is... I'm weird. A lot of friends of mine from back home would listen to music and just zone out and do that kind of thing. I can't do that. I need to be doing something else. To me, it's a complementary thing to what I'm doing. But,
yeah, same.
Whether it be like writing or playing games or doing other stuff, like when we play Helldivers or anything else, because that comes out today as we're recording.
Yeah.
I will listen to their soundtrack to see how it goes, but if I don't like it, I'll just dead that and open Spotify and run that in the background instead.
Yeah, same.
Like I do it constantly.
I mean, like actually doing this is really weird because like I'm slowly going back through like music I've listened to, and it's like, man, like I barely remember this artist. But then I look at the track list and I'm like, oh yeah, this artist's fucking good.
There are some good ones. Like the fact that I forgot Two Steps from Hell exist for a while because my random on my the randomization on my random playlist didn't favor them for a bit. And then occasionally, RNGs will come and going, do you remember this song? You like this song? Like, I did like this song. It's very nice. And the amount of, like, YouTubers I found just for music, like Pomplamoose was a really good one. It just means pomegranate.
I think I know Pomplamoose.
They do a lot of covers, but it's, like, very nice, chill cover. I can't remember, like, a good one, but I'll have to find one and link it at some point. There's just a couple who started putting stuff up online. Very good. Nate Wants to Battle, really good covers of a lot of Steven Universe songs and a few other ones that came out. Basically just redoing some stuff. He did some things for, not Has-Been Hotel, but for Hell of a Boss, and they were very nice. He's just got a really nice, like, old school rock, or pop rock kind of vibe to him. So, yeah, it's pretty fun.
A band that's like, it's actually a pretty popular band. Not that I can really say their name right. Hulung. They do a lot of like very sort of like old type Nordic stuff.
Oh yes.
I know I showed them to you because you were doing a D&D Druids game, and I'm like, here's your backing track.
Yeah, no, that was a good one because that was the was that the guys who you found like this is like Discworld music with rocks in.
No, that's a different
They
band.
were good though. They were fun.
I would have to look up the playlist. I have their one song I keep on to get that one.
That was a really good song.
They're really no. This is Heilung.
Oh yes. I remember them.
These guys do like really traditional type stuff, but like if you had a druid game, like they're perfect.
Yeah.
Groups like Studio Killers are fantastic. Like they do some amazing music. But people just don't know who they are.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Although I look at this and go, they've got over 1 million monthly listeners. Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, like we'll never be those hipsters. Like we listened to them before they were famous. Like no, if you ask me for recommendations, I'll send you a bunch of shit. Like
oh yeah,
hell, if enough people want it, I'll make my random playlist public. I don't care. Like it'll happen, and you can just see how weird my headspace is. It'll be made like public, and everyone beg, please take it away. Like, haha, winning.
There's a European, I think where they're from, a band I like. They're a metal band. Their band title is "We Butter the Bread with Butter."
Yeah, that's a great name.
Yeah, it's so good. I absolutely love their stuff. And it's like I said, it's. Like, I was super keen to do this discussion, and now I'm just, like, digging through, like, old bands that I listened to, like, St4, and oh, dude, Stelladrome.
Oh,
Holy
yes.
shit. I have not listened to Stelladrome in ages.
Oh, it's been a while since I've even heard that name.
He uses sounds from, like, telescopes.
Yeah.
Space scopes.
Turns out you can hear space, and it's
mixes.
terrifying.
Alright. It's so good. If you want like ambient sci-fi background, like just go look up Stelladrome.
I need to find a decent playlist of his again for a D&D game I'm running at the moment.
I just go to his artist page and just put all his albums in one playlist.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You're gonna get it.
Absolutely. It's one of those things where I have a few projects I want to like build certain things, and I forgot his name, but I was trying to remember that. The other day, like, if I can just find and buy all his stuff as a license and just put it into a product, I'd be so happy.
I mean, it's amazing. I love stuff.
Yeah. No, it's very nice. It's very chill, too. It just kind of, like, fades
I'm
in.
probably going to end up listening to a bunch of Stelladrome tonight.
Oh, yeah, no, like, there's a good chance that I'm just going to be listening to a bunch of stuff when we play Helldivers later and just float around in my head. It's going to be good.
Because, like, I mean, I'm skipping over so much stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to, like, what's a highlight? What's something interesting that someone might want to listen to? Because, like, there's so many random, weird things that I've listened to or artists that I follow. Like, you know, I would find it very hard to recommend someone listen to Seven Lion, but I honestly know that if more people listen to Seven Lion, they'd enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, Seven Lions is amazing music.
Actually, here's a quick question, because we are getting past an hour at this point. How long is your just generic random playlist?
Alright, you want my generic... You know what, better question. What'd you call your random playlist?
Mine's just called random, to be honest. I need to change the name of it.
Come on, man. Level it up.
I do need...
Mine's called Rando Tractdrizian.
I like that one. But currently, mine is sitting at 78 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah, you're doing better than me. I'm up to 29 hours 40.
That's not too bad. Like, honestly, these are things that get, like, earwormed into me and then just go for it. Because I have stuff in there from Seth MacFarlane, because guy's got some fucking pipes on him. He's also a massive fan of all the old musicals and that kind of stuff. And I love that kind of stuff. Like The Music Man and that kind of thing. I think he has now covered every song from The Music Man on Family Guy in some way, shape, or form. Like I would not be surprised. He's altered them in a way to make them his own in certain points and just change the tune, or keeps the tune but changes the words, except for Shapoopy. That one is straight from the musical, and it's the point where Peter Griffin becomes a footballer. And it's his,
but he works for the Patriots.
Yeah, and it's his touchdown showboating song. But great stuff.
I mean, like, there's an artist, like, this is going to sound like the weirdest mix of stuff. Ever wanted to hear really good 8-bit metal? Then you go look up an artist called Rainbow Dragon Eyes.
I have seen that one,
Such a-
actually. They have got some good stuff.
Um,
Also,
Yeah,
I
his
don't know
stuff
if I
is-
should be terrified or not, but Discord just popped up saying connect your Spotify. I think it's listening to me.
Probably, knowing Spotify.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't talk about music without talking about Ken Ashmore.
Ah, yes.
Many people probably actually know who he is from one or two songs they've ever listened to. I would probably say the best songs he did... Oh shit, he's got new stuff I haven't listened to.
Oh, shit.
Okay. Yeah, so there is more stuff that I haven't listened to, but I think the ones that he's most known for are probably Crazy Chicks, On the Rocks, We're Shameless, and a song which so many people gave him so much shit for making called I'm Your Slave.
Oh, I've heard that.
But the dude knows how to write a song. They are so catchy, and all of those songs are a bit different.
Yeah. Which I like.
And he's got two more songs that, like, the last song I heard of his was I'm Your Slave. I haven't heard the other two songs he's put out since then, and I'm super happy about that, because I just found out there's more music from artists I like.
Actually, there's one thing that we haven't talked about, and just quickly we'll mention it. The Gorillaz, the old school stuff from Gorillaz.
Yeah.
Because their entire, like, experiment was changing between each album.
Yeah.
And their experimental stuff was really fun. Like, Happy was a great song. Like, that was, like, I'm pretty sure it came out when I was in high school. And it was everywhere. Like, that entire album was just everywhere when I was younger. And then the new stuff wasn't bad. Didn't hate it. It was pretty fun. Bit different, but good.
I'm still more of, like, I say original like that word means anything.
Yeah.
You know, like, I like old school Gorillaz a little more than I like...
Yeah, absolutely. But that's...
I don't think they're bad, but I don't know. I gelled better with...
Yeah, it was more our generation, basically. Because they don't do things often. So every time they bring out a new album, it's like a new generation of music, and they're trying to match that energy or match that thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it.
Damn it. I've been going through my big playlist of fucking songs. I want to find that band that's like a band with rocks in Discworld. I can't find it.
Yeah,
It's
to find it, I would have to
somewhere.
scroll back so far in my random playlist. Like, it would be difficult to find.
I mean, like, I know mine's shorter than yours, but it's like one song in 463.
Yeah, and
It's somewhere in there. I know it exists.
and I can't even...
Oh, there it is.
Oh, you found it?
Found it.
Nice.
Yeah. Areon, Ayeon.
Oh, that's yes.
The song in particular is Day 16 Loser.
Yes, that's the
If you've
one.
ever listened to the Discworld, I swear to God, it's like someone was like, this is what the band with rocks in should sound
Yeah,
like.
absolutely. You hear that, and like, because you sent it to me, it's like, this is what it is. And like, yes, that is it. That is the exact vibe that I was expecting when reading the books or like going through it. It's so good. But there are other
Sorry,
music.
I had to find them. We couldn't finish this episode without me finding that goddamn
We
band.
had to let you know what it was. Otherwise, it would just be nothing but Craig in the background going, "What is the thing? Tell me the thing." But tell you what, if we ever reach a certain like goal, I will make my random playlist a public one. But what will that goal
I'm
be?
happy to do that. You know what? I don't know, but I'll throw it in there as mine too. If people want it, I don't mind people seeing my super random playlist that every now and then gets something added
Yeah,
to it.
actually, are we close to any milestones on any of our...
No, our last milestone was cleared, which was do this for 2 years.
That is fair. You know what? Bugger it. I'll just make it public. We'll do that. I'll think of an interesting
Hey.
name, and I'll announce it next week.
Alright.
It'll be good, so you can search it better.
Alright, well, as Swoosh did point out, we are out past an hour. So I think we'll round things out with that wonderful discussion of music.
Yes, it was pretty fun. Like, I'm surprised we haven't chatted about music before.
I know, right? And we could probably do it again. 'Cause,
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even talk about fifth of the fucking artists I listen to.
Oh, the fact that I have a bunch of like remixed classical music, like it's classical hardstyle, and it's really fun.
It's actually pretty
Yeah, Mozart, but with hardstyle mixed in. It's like, ooh, suck tasty.
I've actually triggered like it's in my random playlist. I have a hardstyle remix of the theme tune from Lavender Town.
Oh, nice! I think
I
think I
find
have
the
that.
nerds when I put that.
Yeah,
up.
I think I've heard that one. I may have pinched it from you at some point because I heard it. I'm like, yes,
I did send
it's
it to
good.
you.
But the way it starts, it sends tingles up your spine. It's fucking tasty.
Yep.
It's a crunchy one.
But yeah, I think we're done. Y'all have a good one.
Have a good one, and send us some music recommendations. We always need new shit.
Oh yes, please. Would love to have some more music to this.
Absolutely.